All right. So, this is the Python Foundations workshop where we dive into both Python and also how to make your first API call with OpenAI. The reason why we host this workshop is because this is the some of the most high leverage valuable skills to learn in technology. And about 3 years ago, when I saw that AI had arrived and that it was going to have such a huge impact, not just in the tech field, but also in the realm of employment and the job in the arena of being employed. I knew that all of this was going to happen. So it led to me creating a foundation where we are focused on just empowering people with business and also technical skills so that people are able to survive and thrive during this AI revolution. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce myself. As I mentioned, I'm Nova Naoji, of course, and I studied both art and psychology when I was in college. In fact, I only took one computer science class when I was in college, and it was the only class, believe it or not, that I stopped going to halfway into the semester because the teacher was just so goddamn boring. And then, after I graduated from college, I went to a coding boot camp, and it was introduced to me in a way that was actually interesting. The one of the poor things about our education system here in America is, and not just in America, of course, but in the world, but like especially right now in America, is that many of the people in the education system are not true practitioners. They kind of just sit in front of their degrees, their old outdated degrees, and then from there they create these curriculums that are never updated. So there's a lot of issues with the education system. I can go about on that for a long time. But with that being said, I got back into technology in a different way and I fell in love with it right away. I've now been a software engineer, AI engineer, data engineer for more than 10 years, started back in 2014/2015. I have won 3 hackathons in my career. I have built pretty much every kind of application: web, mobile, VR, AR, AI. And then I have also trained more than 400 people that got full-time jobs as software engineers. So I used to work for one of the largest tech consulting companies in the world as their lead technical instructor. And everybody that I trained got deployed in full-time jobs for companies. But that 400 number is just within that setting. As far as how many people I've technically trained or hosted workshops for, that's in the thousands. I volunteered for Microsoft Teals, which is a program that allows for people that are experienced software engineers to teach high school classes. And that was when I realized how bad the high school education for tech is. In reality, they pretty much put somebody that has no knowledge of technical skills in front of the students, and they asked that person to just flip through slides, just flip through presentations. So when I did volunteer and participate, the engagement and skill set of the students shot through the roof because they were actually in the presence of somebody that knows what they're doing. But in most schools, they just have somebody flipping through slides, which is a disservice to the youth. But once again, we can go about that for a long time. I've built many different apps. I've volunteered as an area director of Toastmasters for a short amount of time and been a member of Toastmasters. And I also have a twin brother who is also a technical instructor for one of the largest tech education companies in the country. So Yeah, we bring a lot of experience to the game, and this is what I love to do. This is one of my areas of genius, just one of them. All right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start off with, getting a little bit familiar with Python, and then from there we're going to get into the IDE, and then we're going to get into OpenAI, ChatGPT, and how to create our first chatbot, our first API call. All right. And I want to make sure, I'm going to check the chat real quick, make sure we don't have any questions. Where's the chat? All right, cool. So we're still good. We don't have any questions yet here. All right. All right. So one of the things that I like to highlight is my teaching style. All right. Because I've been doing this for a long time, when I got into the game of making sure that I was an educator, I wanted to make sure that I do this very effectively. So I want to highlight some of the different things that I do while I teach, so that while I'm doing it, you're going to know what you may want to do as well. All right. So the different things that I do is I emphasize. All right. And if I emphasize something, then that means that it's something that you either want to write down or, just look up more, research more about. All right. So one of the ways of emphasis and teaching is auditory. All right. And throughout the workshop, there are a number of different ways that I will emphasize things. One of them is going to be through repetition. All right. So if I repeat something, that means you probably want to write it down. Another way of emphasis is going to be by saying something loudly. If I say something loudly, then it means that you're going to want to pay attention to that thing. Another way of emphasis is by saying something slowly. All right. So if I say that you will want to pay attention to how to connect to the ChatGPT API, if I say it slowly, that means probably something else that you'll want to write down. All right. So those are 3 forms of emphasis: speaking slowly, speaking loudly, and then also repeating something. All right. And then we have visual people that are visual learners. We will also have, snapshots of code during parts of the workshop. And then also we have what we call forward engineering. The way that I think of forward engineering is pretty much like if anybody has ever built furniture that you purchase from IKEA. All right. You may not have ever built a sofa. You may not have ever built a cabinet, but just by following along in the instructions, you are able to get the same results, right? And that's what forward engineering is all about. So during the workshop or when you're following any tutorial, all it's about is just by sticking with it, staying engaged, actually participating as long as you go, as well as you go. All right. So that's going to be important. And then also reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is very important. The way analogy for this is, let's say if a flying a UFO was to, land and we were able to find it. Well, by digging into it and looking at what's the way that it works, you're able to understand the big picture. And that's essentially what it is that we do as a tech professional, is you are digging into this, new world, this new code base. And then from there, you're figuring out how to manipulate it. So, getting access to code that works is also going to be valuable, but not just getting access to it, but also figuring out, okay, if I type in this here, how does that change the way that this whole thing works? That's what reverse engineering is. So these are the 4 different core teaching methods that I use. All right. All right. By the way, all of my workshops are interactive. So I typically do have a moderator, one of my assistants. He helps out. He's not here on the call right now. So if there is a question that you have, feel free to just unmute yourself and ask it, and I will at least raise your hand. You can raise your hand using the app, and then from there we'll be able to, address a question. So kind of diving into things before we do that. Okay, cool. So, kind of diving into things, I want to know first of all, um, uh, how much experience we have here collectively with Python. So, on a scale of 1 to 5, one being little to no experience, and 5 being a lot of experience. I just want to know where everybody is at with Python. So there is no right or wrong. This is an intro level workshop. So even if somebody was to say 0, that's totally fine. All right. Nice. Right. So we have people with a variety of experience. Most people are more in the intro level, and that is totally great. That's the reason why we host these workshops, is for people that want to get in there, and then also for people that want to take it one step further. So this is good for a wide variety of people of experience. Uh, the reason why we ask that question is so that we will know what speed to go in different parts of the workshop. Right. So Python, one of the reasons why Python is so widely used now, of course, it started with the AI boom, which started in 2023. Essentially, the end of 2022 was when Chat GPT was announced. And I literally remember the day that I heard about Chat GPT and used it. All right. So this was the end of 2022. And I saw on LinkedIn that there was some sort of tool that was backed by Elon Musk, and that it was a new venture and that it was growing in speed of use very fast. So I checked it out. And this was actually the first week that it was announced. And I remember trying it out. And the first thing that I wanted to know was whether it knows how to code. And as soon as I did see that it knows how to code, it's like, imagine this is kind of like a calculator, and it knows how to code. I remember this kind of, it was like uh, it's almost like a like chills, but I knew right away that the world had changed. So I remember I gave my brother a call, and I think I had a little bit of a tremble in my voice, and I was like, bro, you need to check this thing out. It's called Chat GPT. And he kind of laughed it off. He kind of felt like, yeah, who cares? But fast forward, 3 years, and we have seen the world change a lot very, very fast. So, but Python as a language, its readability is very high, and compared to other programming languages. David mentioned that he uses C sharp, or he has used C sharp a lot in his career. And I started off using languages like C sharp. We'll do some comparisons about the way that some of the languages, are read later on. So, but Python is readable. It's also flexible. And that's part of the reason why it won the race, and it's become so valuable. And there's a lot of documentation on it. It could be used in a lot of different scenarios. So that's the essence. For where is Python used? Python is used in a lot of very popular languages, and we can get into that later. If you want, you could open up your favorite AI tool, whether it be Claude or Chat GPT, who knows, Gemini, any of the AI tools that you like, Copilot, and use this alongside as you participate in this workshop. So go ahead and ask your Chat GPT, which companies use Python in their tech stack, right? Go ahead and do that. in their apps, and they'll let Instagram, Spotify, Dropbox, you name it. A lot of organizations use Python in their tech stack. All right. So when one of the things I do a bit of is kind of talking a little bit about what's going on underneath the hood. Uh, this is what I did with Java as well. We would go a lot into this, but what I will do is just kind of skim through this because we have a lot of people that are a little bit more newer, and we want to kind of we want to zoom straight into the meat and bones, into the actual hands-on part, so that we can get faster into the playing around with the OpenAI API. So, but the way that Python works, for most people, they don't realize that, Java is already installed in every device. But Python, however, is a language that people have to actually install. So you will install the language, you will install the software, the language, but then also in the IDE. IDE is the programming environment that we use as software engineers, and then you'll need to also download the interpreter onto the IDE that we're using. So with this combination, essentially, we are able to begin to operate and use Python. Um, there's an interpreter, and then from there we have the different folder structures. Virtual environment is used to pretty much just notify what packages are going to be used throughout the project that has been created. And then there is a very popular library called pip, and it's one of the libraries that's used for being able to install different packages into your packages, and libraries are considered the same thing. It's just a huge amount of code. All right, that's what we call packages or libraries. Okay. The one other thing that I'll highlight, and before we keep on going, does anybody have any questions so far? All right, great. So what we're going to just touch on really quickly is what object-oriented programming is. The reason why I touch on this is because it's actually an interview question that comes up sometimes. So it's kind of like a little gift that I like to give. I remember one day when I was on LinkedIn, somebody said that they've been an engineer for about 10 years. And somebody in the interview, no, I don't think it was 10 years. I think it was more like 20 years. And then they said that in an interview, somebody asked them this question, and because they didn't know the answer to it, they didn't get the job. So this is just like a little gift that I like to give. So the 4 principles of object-oriented programming are abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. The strategy that I like to use for remembering it is considering the vowels. So the reason why I put them in this order is if you think A, E, I, right? Those are the first 3 vowels. And then from there, P is the last one. So A, E, I, P. And of course, in exchange for OU, right? So once again, the reason why I'm highlighting this is for, potentially in interviews. And because I am highlighting it, it's probably something you want to, write down and make sure that you know. All right. So abstraction is essentially the fact that we don't have to know everything that's going on underneath the hood in order for us to make utilization of it. So as APIs and AI has continuously, been growing, we're able to do really complex stuff very easily. And we'll be able to see that during this workshop alone, where, within a few minutes, we'll be able to make an API call to ChatGPT. And it's going to be, fairly simple because of the way that it was programmed. So this is a large example of abstraction. All right. One of the analogies that I give is, if you think about like with a remote control, where you don't need to necessarily know how it works, but all people need to do is just click on and off, and it's going to turn the TV on or off, right? So that's what abstraction essentially is. All right. So in the same way, when we're programming, well, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we are making use of, huge libraries of code, and we are able to make use of it very easily. All right. And then we have encapsulation. Encapsulation is pretty much the core way to think about it is being able to access the values that are stored in inside of a class, whether it be, using getters or setters. But, the core thing about abstraction is that, you are able to get access into values. All right. And, an analogy that I like to give for this is, if somebody lives inside of people like, used to live inside a house, and from there you have your central phone. And then from there you would ask, is this person available? Of course, everybody has their own phone now, but encapsulation is pretty much, similar in that concept to, finding out, whether the person that is, living inside of the house is available. All right. And then we have inheritance. Inheritance is one of the most powerful of the concepts of object-oriented programming because it greatly reduces the amount of code that's needed to be written. Essentially, if you have a class and from there, you don't want to repeat it, but you want to create something that's very similar, well, you can create one that inherits from the other class as a child-parent relationship. And then from there, all you'll need to do is specify the differences. All right, so that's the power of inheritance. An example is, let's say if you're writing code for a bank and you have, bank account as the parent class, and then the child class can be, checking account, savings account, a credit card account, you name it, right? So these are just different kinds of accounts. So you can just have them, inherit from the banking account class, and then the banking account class can has all of the, generic details. And then from there, your savings account may have, higher, interest or whatever. And, these are, you're able to specify the difference, right? So, and then the final one is polymorphism. All right. So polymorphism is essentially, it is, you can have multiple functions that have the same name as long as they differ in where they are, like in whether, as long as they're in a different class, or if they have differences in parameters. All right. So it just means that the system is able to recognize that there are two multiple different classes that multiple different functions that have the same name, as long as they differ in, some sort of way, which is either by the location or by their parameters. All right. So now we're going to go into the project structure of, Python. Python is very flexible in terms of the arrangement of the files, but nonetheless, they have frameworks that are popular. Some of the popular frameworks for Python app development include Django, that's spelled Django, and then we have Flask, Flask, and then we also have using Fast API. So these are three of the really popular Python frameworks for app development. And when you are in a interview, it's really valuable to to communicate everything that you are knowledgeable of. So that's the, so sometimes when you're in an interview, you're not just responding directly to the question, and you do want to, of course, respond to the questions in particular, but also make sure that you're just pumping in the conversation with as much information that you do have. Okay. So yep, this is just a view of some of the different typical structures for a Python application. Whenever you get access to any IDE, which is just code base, and you're looking at a Python application or just any application as a whole, the first folder that you're really looking for is going to be the app folder or the source folder. That app or src, that's going to be where the main code resides. All right. So keep that in mind. And then from there, they have specific files, but you're always looking for this app or source folder whenever you get access to any code base. Okay. And then from there, you have your different files here. You'll have your test folder. The test folder is not something that people use too often. It's pretty good practice if you have an organization that you have some other people that do the testing. It depends on the way that the organization chooses to work, but in a lot of cases you are focused on the app folder. Okay. And then from there, you'll have your virtual environment folder. This is very important because you don't want to store certain things inside of your code, inside of your code files. So virtual environment is really valuable as well. We'll get into that later. And then you might have a requirements text and your README that just kind of talks a little bit about what the project is and the way that it works. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get into performing our first hello world. And there's a number of different ways we can do that. We're going to use a coding playground. Choose the best one. I'll leave the link in here for you guys. All right, so I'm gonna leave the link here. So when you have access this Programmees website, I want you to just type in the letter P. All right. So go ahead and type in the letter P when you have access to the website. And I will. This is what it should look like. So we're just going to wait a few minutes and make sure that we see a few more P's, all right? Because all of this is about staying hands-on. Let's get a few more, and then from there, we'll keep on going. Ivandro's already there. Luba, are you able to get there? Sravani. Okay. All right, good. All right, so let's carry on. So as we could see over here, we already have essentially the base input for our hello world. But this is what we're going to do is write hello world. So inside of where it says try programmies.pro, I'm going to start off by typing in hello world. And then from there, once we do that, we're just going to go ahead and click run. And as you can see, we have our output right here. It says hello world. All right. So once you've written your first hello world, this is your initiation. This is your initiation into being a programmer. So as soon as you've done this, you're officially a programmer. You are welcome to this thing of ours. And then from there, once you've been able to type that in, and then from there you click run, and then go ahead afterwards and next just type in your name, and then or whatever you want it to say. And you go ahead and make it say whatever you want it to say, and then click run, and then let me know when you've done that. So when you have done that, then just type in HW when you have successfully, typed in and ran your first hello world, or, whatever you wanted it to say. All right, great. Looks like we've got. All right. So that's just an introduction into the actual programming. We're going to get into actually using the IDE here shortly. Go back into I'm going to go back into the slides here. All right, so we're gonna just touch a little bit on what like the difference is between like a strong type language and a soft type language. All right, so let's say for example, right, I'm gonna pull up this other website here called W3 Schools. And can you guys, okay, yeah. So with we're gonna just take a quick look at the difference between Python and some other languages. So this is what hello world looks like. Of course, in Python, we just saw that. But with this, for trying to get the same type of experience of just writing out hello world in C#, you have to write all of this right here in order for us to do a hello world in C#. So that's the reason why Python is winning. And then from there, if we look at the Java version, this is the Java version. You have to write all of this in order for that to be done in Java. C++ we'll find, looks more or less, there's so the thing about all object-oriented programming is that they are essentially like, if you can think about how like Spanish and French are similar, right? And they all have the same derivative. So in my approach of teaching people how to code, we start off with just focusing on one language, but you will quickly learn that once you understand one object-oriented programming language, you pretty much understand all of them. All right. It's just a matter of just deciphering the slight little differences in the way that they are all said. All right. So we could still hear it still says print, right? In Python, it still says, print, right? In Java, it still says print line, right? So, all programming languages that are object-oriented programming languages are essentially like the same thing, right? They just have slight little differences. Okay. So some of them are soft type languages. Some of them are hard type. When a language is a hard type language, the difference is that those languages and hard and strong, we pretty much were using the same. Those are the same, but it means that you have to specify the data type as well as the data output. All right. So when we take a look here, share my screen again here. Let's see. I'm gonna pull that website back up. So when we see with C#, you'll see here, it's asking for, it's saying that there is a string output is expected. So this is defining the data type that this is going to be. In the same way with Java, you have it here as well. This is specifying the data type. But with Python, we don't need to do this. Excuse me. With JavaScript, we don't need to do this as well.
Excuse me, Nova. Are we supposed to be able to see your screen right now? Because I'm not seeing it.
Oh, okay. So one moment here. Yeah, here we go.
There we go. Thank you.
So what I was highlighting here is with Java, you have over here the mentioning of the data type that your variable here is. So that lets us know that args, this variable args, has a data type of string. Same thing with C here. Let's see here. We're looking at C# right here, right? It's letting us know that this args variable, the data type is string. With JavaScript, we don't have to do that. We're just able to create variables, and the way that the language is that it automatically is able to recognize, what the data type is. We can just say y equals John. This is a string. All right. Whenever you see a variable that's created in quotation marks, then that is a string. Whenever we have, a number, these are integers. We're about to go through the different common data types, but this is the difference between a strong type language and hard and soft type. So as we can see here, for a language like C#, we have to declare the variable type and then the variable name and then assigning its value. I also want to highlight the way that we read code. This is going to be very valuable. Is we read it from left to right, okay? And that might sound like it's like completely obvious, but when a lot of people read code, they try to summarize what it says, but that's not going to be good when you're building your foundations. Especially if you are in an interview, you want to really read it in its exactitude. The more that you could read, if you're in an interview and you could read code in its exactitude, it gives a person that is interviewing you the confidence that you will be able to build up this, that you have a good foundation. All right. So the way that we do this is, let's say for this line right here, we would say that we are, first of all, we're declaring a variable. All right. So the best word for, the creation of a variable is the word declaring. So we say here we are declaring a variable, and its type is a string, and its name is and it's called name. All right. From there, when we see this equal signs, that always means that we are assigning a value. All right. So whenever you see the equal sign, you want to say it is assigning a value of John. All right. So that's what's going on right here. We're declaring a variable called name, and then its data type is string, and then we're assigning it a value of John. And then we have this one over here. So with that being said, I know that was pretty fast, but I just wanted to see if we can get a volunteer. Anybody want to volunteer to take on what this says? We're just reading the code.
I'm gonna take a guess here. You're assigning the integer 15 in the temporary memory.
You started from the right. We start from the left, right?
Oh, you want me to just read it out? Just
No. I was talking about in the way that I just described. So the first word is the key word. So what is the key word that we use when we are, creating a variable?
oh, we're assigning an integer on the first one.
Well, we are correct. But what was that key? Do you remember that key word that we use for creating a variable? The key word that we use when we're talking about creating a variable? Starts with a D. Does anybody remember?
Declaring a variable, declaring an integer.
Yeah, we're declaring a variable. Yeah, that's correct. It sounds like music to my ears whenever you say declaring a variable. If you say that in an interview, you're declaring a variable, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, my ears are open. All right. So yeah, you're declaring a variable, and it's called yeah. And then you want to continue from there, Pam?
Yeah, we're declaring our variable named mynum.
Mm-hmm.
The value 15.
So what's this? What do you say when you see this?
Equal.
Nope. Does anybody else have it? When you see this, what do we say that we're doing? We are assigning a value. The equals means that we're assigning a value. Okay. So and there's a difference between something being equal to and assigning a value, because the reality is that the value for my num, it can change its value during the course of a function. We might assign it the value to something else later on. So we're just assigning its current value as 15. Does that make sense, Pam?
Yes.
Absolutely. So so in this line we are declaring a variable, and the variable's name is mynum, and we are assigning it a value of 15. Yep. So when you and so we're just going through the exercise of reading the code on a detailed level. So and then from there we will step in further into adding the OpenAI ChatGPT element of it. So we're going to go over here. Let's go into an if else statement. Can I get a volunteer? Get another volunteer. How about you, Lydia? Are you up to take it on?
Yeah, well, I can try.
All right, perfect. All right. So what are we doing over here on this line?
I will say that you're assigning the value 33 to the variable a.
Yeah, but what was that key word that we use whenever we are creating?
Declaring a variable.
There we go. Sounds good. All right. So what are we doing?
We are declaring the variable a and
Mm-hmm.
assigning the value 33. And
Correct.
down declaring the variable b and assigning the value to 200.
Exactly. Very good. Very good there. All right. So now we're adding something else here. We are adding in a Boolean. Okay. So Boolean is one of the data types. And Boolean is essentially, this is the way that intelligence was created in applications before AI was, a lot through Booleans and typed in algorithms. Okay. So, but I remember when I learned, what a Boolean is, it was really eye-opening. I really felt like I understood the world on a deeper level, because it's the same way when you are, let's just say you're driving on the road, and then from there you're in front of a stoplight, right? And then when that if you see a stoplight and you see that the light is red, and then that means that the light on the other side is going to be green, right? So that other people can drive. So it's the if else, understanding if this is the case, then make this work that way. If that is the case, then make this work this way. So this is a way that most things work. It's just like if you're using a remote control, it's going to say if the TV is on, then if you click it, then it turns off. If the TV is off and you click it, then it turns on. So this is the way, this is what's going on underneath the hood in our applications. Okay. So when you are logging into a new app, it goes, if you already have a account, then it's going to see, if you enter in your login and your password, it's going to enter you into the application. If you do not, right, then it's going to ask you to create a new account. All of this is what's going on underneath the hood of every application. So we're just highlighting this to just demystify, all of the things that we experience when we're on these applications. So with that being said, we have over here our if statement, and this is the format of a Boolean. It says if B is greater than A, then output B is greater than A, right? Now, the thing about reading this is, once again, with code, it's very important to understand the details of what we're saying. With this is not just saying if B is greater than A. This is saying if the value that is stored inside of B is greater than the value that's stored inside of A. Does that make sense? Because B and A are just variables. They're variables that are storing a value. So once again, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to that other screen that we were on. Present something else. Yep. We're going to go back to this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this right here, and then we're going to run it. And we could see here, it says B is greater than A. Why? Because it is. The value of B is greater than A. Then from there, if we add this right here, check it out. It's not outputting anything. Why? Because the value is the value of A is greater than B. So what we would do here is we would add in our else. So let's go ahead and a moment here. We're going to go back into our Does everybody understand what we're doing so far? You know, like the way that the if and else works.
Yes.
So next we're highlighting that, you know, if there the way that we add in different considerations is we'll have our else statement. So we're going to go ahead and get back over here. I'm going to go back over here. All right, so here we have A as, let's get somebody to volunteer. Can we get another volunteer? How about Ivandro from Rio de Janeiro? We here? Ivandro? Or how about David? No, David has a bit more experience. David here still with us? Oh no, looks like David left. Is he? Okay. All right, so see here. Give all right, so Lydia, do you want to pick this one back up? Has a few more lines, same thing more or less.
Oh, I will try.
Okay, so let's use all of the stuff that we've put together so far, starting off with line 5. What does line 5 say?
It says, again, declaring the variable A and 200, which is assigning the value 200.
Yes,
and
correct.
B is basically the same with the variable B and
Yeah, but
assigning the
still just read it, even though it's very similar. Still
Okay.
best to read it, to slow down and read it, because you will continuously be exposed to more code. And sometimes when people they try to take in all of the code at the same time, but it's best to go line by line, especially while you're building up. Later on, you'll be able to synthesize just by looking at it what the code is doing, but it's best as you're starting off to just go line by line and making sure that you're reading it and saying it in the right way.
Okay, so it is declaring the variable B and assigning the value 33.
Yep.
And then in line 7, we are adding like the conditional and the volume.
Yeah.
And then we're saying like an equal with the aleph at line.
So with line 7, what can you why don't you try to say what line 7 is saying?
If the variable B value is bigger than A, we will be printing.
And if it's greater than A, or the value in A?
The value in A.
Exactly. So that's we're keeping you on the specifics, the exact of what it says, because that's what this craft is about. Is, you know, making sure that you can stay on the exact technicality of what it's saying.
Okay, and then if it's true,
So
it will be printing B is greater than A.
Yes.
And
right.
in line 9, I think you haven't explained this,
Yes,
but
that's correct.
I feel it is like setting like inequality. Like if
Ah,
A is the same as B,
yeah,
you print A and B are equal.
yeah,
And the next one is like also or else you can have uh, A can be greater than B, and then
yeah.
you have to print it.
That's correct. So, line 9, that was great because for why do we not just put why does it have two equal signs there?
Because we're not trying
It
to
is like
assign it a value.
There it is, Pam. Correct. Because if you have one equal sign, what are you doing? You're assigning a value, right? But when you have two equal signs, then you're comparing the values. That's important. That's important to remember. If you have one equal sign, you are assigning a value. If you have two equal signs, then you're comparing the values. Okay. So that was really good. All right. So now we're about to dive more into we're about to get to the next level, get into, now that we understand, some of the code, now we're about to go into the next step. This is really good. I'm glad you guys are sticking with. If this has been of value to you so far, just go ahead and type in the letter V if this is valuable to you so far. All right, so we just slowed down to, make sure that we are getting, some of the, understanding of how to read the code. We just talked about data types. We have integers. These are some of the data types. As far as numerics go, in most cases, we're going to use either integers or floats. We have data types as strings for sequences. If it's inside of a quotation, it's going to be a string. We have lists. A list could be a list of strings. It could be a list of integers. It could be a list of, a unique class or object. We have dictionaries. A dictionary is pretty cool. It's kind of like creating a database on the fly. It's a data type that does that, where you have a name to key value, a key to value. Dictionaries are cool too. We have sets. A set is essentially a list. It just automatically removes all of the duplicates. So let's just say if we have a list that's, let's just say we have a list of people. We have a list of people and some of the people have the same name. It will only show you the unique names. All right. So that's the difference between a set. And then we have Booleans, the almighty Boolean, true or false, right? That's what Boolean outputs. So these are some of the core data types. As far as naming conventions go, naming conventions is also very important in languages like JavaScript. We use camel case, but in Python, we use snake case. All right. So what that means is that when we are creating a variable, we have each word is in lowercase. I mean, each word is in lowercase, and we connect the different words if we need to with an underscore. All right. So we have here, for example, user age, and then we have, for example, inventory list. All right. And it's also the same thing with a function. Function, we have calculate total, and then we have, print message. Okay. So these are, once again, in snake case, if we were using JavaScript or C#, in these languages, they use camel case. All right. So I'll just kind of really quickly, I'll show you the difference. For variables in JavaScript. Let's just say. Man, this used to be such a great and valuable website. Then they just bombarded it with advertisements, which is just unfortunate. I used to use this when I was learning it, when I was learning programming, like back 12 years ago.
LSU used it to teach us during my bachelor's.
You said you did too?
Yeah, LSU used this in when I went for my bachelor's. We used it.
Yeah. Such a great website. They just bombarded it with advertisements for some reason, but hey, I guess they got to make money a little bit somehow. But yeah, so this is what camel case looks like. So it always, variables always start off with lowercase, and then from there, for if you wanted to, if it's like a multi-worded name for the variable, then every other word is capitalized. Okay, it always starts off with a with a lowercase. Okay, so if the name was going to be first name, then the first would be lowercase, and then the name would be the N in name would be capitalized if we're doing this in C#. All right. Here's an example for the variable my num, lowercase m, and then num is capitalized. So if there was if there was another word, let's say it was called my num ID, then the I would be capitalized as well. Okay. So this is the difference between camel case and what we call snake case. Snake case, every single separate word is separated by a underscore. All right. So like this is the way that variable is for Python. Every word is lowercase and it's separation by underscore. Okay. All right. What else here? We're gonna go back into boom. Okay. All right. So classes. For classes, we are always in the we always capitalize a class. Classes are always capitalized. A class is a generic, it's a template for creating other objects. We'll get into that later on. And then we have modules, we have constants. A module is pretty much just like, declaring where some code is going to be located. Constants are variables that are static, meaning that they don't change throughout your entire application. It's more for utility. And then we have packages. Packages are, a group of related modules. And then from there we have just a reminder of not to name your variables, super generic. Like don't just call it list, call it, something special. Okay. All right. And then creating your AI chatbot. Here we go. All right. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to open up this URL. I'm going to post it. One moment here. All right. So when you've gotten onto the website, I'm going to go ahead and hang on, where was I? Okay, there it is. All right. So yeah, you will go ahead and create your account with OpenAI. So a lot of people would think that you go on chatgpt.com. No, there's a specific website in order to get your your account with OpenAI, and you have to go to platform.openai.com. So that's this website that you see here. When you do get your account created, then go ahead and type in O. What you're also going to do is you're also going to create your IDE. Sorry, you're going to also download the IDE. The IDE that we're using is Cursor. I posted the link for downloading that earlier, but if anybody needs it, just type in Cursor IDE in Google, and it's going to be one of those, and then you're just going to download it. I already have it. I can share really quickly. So this is the way that the IDE looks like. All right. Sorry about that. So at this point, actually, one of the most valuable ways for us to proceed is actually by getting a volunteer. So does anybody want to volunteer? You will pretty much, you'll be the driver, but I will help you navigate on what you do in order for you to make your first API call using Python to ChatGPT. Anybody want to volunteer for that? Would either of you, Pam or Lydia, any of you?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, great. All right. So all you'll need to do is just share your screen, and then from there, I'll just be able to let you know step by step what to do. And that way you'll be guaranteed to get to your destination.
All right. Let's see.
All right, great. So we already have Cursor here. And then from there, we also have our OpenAI created. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do first of all is we are going to find where the code is for. So first we're going to create an API key. So go ahead and click on in platforms where it says create an API key. It looks like yeah, we can go ahead and try that. And yeah, you could just name it my project.
Do we need to follow any conventionality? Or?
No, that's fine. You can just leave it as is and then create the secret key. And then you'll want to copy that into like your notes, like just some sort of like separate note place.
Okay. All right.
You got it saved in like some sort of like notepad or something like that?
Yeah, I have a Word document open on my other screen.
Perfect. Okay, great. All right. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to look for the best sample code. So they move the stuff around here from time to time on the website. Can you go click on where it says Developer Quick Start? All right. So yeah, we're just going to scroll down, and then you see where it says JavaScript. Click Python.
Python.
Perfect. And then we're going to copy that code for all of that where it says from line 1 through 10.
On the test of basic API.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. So what we're going to do is go back into Cursor. And then you see on the top right how it says IDE. Go ahead and click IDE. You can go ahead and just skip. All right. So we're going to create a new project. And you could just call this one. You could put it in whatever, whatever storage you want, whether it be in like your desktop environment.
And we're naming it.
And you could call it like Chat GPT project. And it doesn't have to be one word. It could be,
Gotcha. I think I'm just used to it from.
Perfect. That's totally great. All right. So, and you could close the one that's in the background where, yeah, you could close that one. There we go. And just make that one the main one. Yeah, cool. So we're going to go over to File. And we're going to create a new
text file.
Yeah. Well, actually, we want it to. Go ahead and click. You see that button that shows where it's on a little bit towards the right, so that it opens up the left panel. Yeah, correct. There we go. All right. So, you know what you did? You opened up your entire desktop directory. You don't want to do that.
All right.
So go back over to File and click Open Folder. And then instead go over, click Desktop. And then from there, you're going to want to like right click somewhere and then create the
new folder.
Yeah, correct. And then name that the Chat GPT project. Cool. There we go. All right, cool. So now what we're going to do is you're just going to right click over there on the left side, on the left side where it says, yep. And you're going to want to, or you could click on that button right there. And just call it main.py, lowercase m.
Main. So what was the?
.py. That's letting us know that it's a Python file. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and copy that code that we got from OpenAI. Cool. And then delete the line 1. All right. And then bump that line 2 to. Okay, cool. All right. So now what we're going to do, I don't think that you have Python installed yet, but don't worry about it. We'll go through it. We'll let the agent do the heavy lifting. Okay. So go ahead and click Run on the top. You see on the top of the over by file, and then run without debugging. All right, there we go. So find the Python extension. So go ahead and install it. And if anybody's having any problems, just let me know. Lydia, you're able to follow along as well?
Yeah, but I was not doing it. I'm sorry. I think I was just paying attention to what you're doing.
Oh, you were just, okay. It's so much better when you just follow along that way, because everything that we do in this field is very hands-on, right?
Okay,
so
I will do it. I will try to do it.
Sure. And then that way, if you have any questions, you're able to, let me know. All right, so that's going to go ahead and install. And then,
yeah.
And then also, so yeah, you can go ahead and close that extension Python. So now let's go ahead and try to run. You could click off of that marketplace and then just go back to the file explorer. If you click on the icon that's on the left. Yeah. All right, and then go back to run. And then run without debugging.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because debugging is just, yeah, go ahead and click Python debugger. All right, cool. So that means that you don't have it yet. So click cancel. And then from there, you know how with Windows, you have that marketplace that, so go over to that.
Let's see.
That Microsoft Marketplace. I think you have to click on that tile.
Microsoft Store.
Yeah, exactly. And then from there, you're gonna type in Python. Yep, and then just download the latest one. It's gonna be 3.13. It says.
All right.
All right, and then now go ahead and just close the IDE and then open it back up.
Close the what?
Close cursor.
Okay, close the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then from there you can open the cursor back up. The reason why is because in a lot of cases, the IDE doesn't just register right away that Python was installed.
Got you.
All right, so now go ahead and run it again with the debugger. We should get a different error this time.
With or without?
Oh, without, correct. Great, nice. So we see we got a different outcome, right? And we see on the bottom it says no module named OpenAI. So you see that in the down there where it says terminal.
Yeah.
So that means that it ran the code. It did run the code, but it's just saying, hey, there's no such thing called OpenAI. Why? Because we haven't downloaded it yet. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and copy the error.
OpenAI is a function, correct?
OpenAI is the company that owns the.
I mean, in here, it's.
So that right there is an object. That object is referring to the library. So in this case, OpenAI is a library.
Okay.
So go ahead and then copy the line above from where it says file. Yeah, there we go. And then what we're gonna do is remember how that agent was on the right side? We're gonna go ahead and open that back up.
How did we get to it?
So you on the top over there, you see where it says it has kind of like a, yeah, go ahead and click that. There we go. And then go ahead and just paste that there. Yeah, it did it. So go ahead and just click enter. So with the Cursor being an AI empowered IDE, it already it has, AI attached to it. So it's able to provide, it knows the context of what's going on throughout inside of your project. So, from there, you're able to, have it interact with your code base. So what it's doing is it's going ahead to install the OpenAI.
Should I click on this?
No, you don't need to.
Okay.
All right. So now, so as it says over there, it has installed it. So let's go ahead and try to run it now. So, and also another way of running it is you see that play button that's on the,
Yeah.
you can go ahead and just click that. All right, great. So as we could see, we got a different output now, right?
Right.
So in this case, now it knows what OpenAI is. All that we need to do is we need to, as it says, we need to get our API key. So remember, we already have our OpenAI key, but we want to set it up the right way. So can you just go ahead and type inside the agent, type in that agent over there that to ask it to set up your virtual environment so that you can input the OpenAI key.
Input the AI key, you said?
Well, that'll suffice. It will understand what you're talking about. So what this is doing is it is setting up your folder structure so that you see down there on the bottom left where it says, go ahead and click yes. So what we're doing is we are, when you get an API key, you don't want to put that inside your code because your code does get submitted into your, into the cloud eventually, right? When you are using your repository, right? So we want to store it inside of our virtual environment so that it is not stored inside of your code base.
Is that because we linked it to GitHub and that's a cloud, a sharing?
Yeah, exactly. That's what GitHub is an example of our version control. So yeah, we just want to make sure that we are not inserting our code in that way. So right now, Cursor is just it's setting up your environment so that all you'll need to do is just post in your API key. So it says want to launch Cursor from the, no, don't need to worry about that. So go ahead and just click where it says where that green keep, where it says keep.
I'm sorry, where?
Where it says keep right there. And yeah, go ahead and yep, where it says keep. Cool. And it says on the overall on the agent where it says run, go ahead and click that. All right, perfect. So now you already have the key. So you're going to go ahead and just when you're going to copy that, and then you'll be able to go into that env file. And then you'll be able to just paste it there.
Do I need to put a space or leave it as is?
Just leave it as is. Oh, it's like you just press tab. There we go. All right, so now you can go back, keep all changes, and then now we can go back into our main.py. All right, let's go ahead and run it again. And let's clear this. You could just type in the word clear on the bottom. Yeah, exactly. Just type in clear. All right, and then go ahead and try to run it again. All right. Please pass an API key. So go to File. Oh yeah, and then save all. Okay, because you hadn't saved it yet, so it didn't recognize the changes. So go ahead and run it again. All right, great. So now we got a new error, and this is a 401 error, and all it's telling us is just that we haven't funded the account yet. So in order to do that, you can just put in like, $5 or whatever. And, from there we'll be able to make our first API call. If you like, you can unshare, and then from there you can add that. It doesn't have to, it could be $2 no matter what. And then from there you will be able to make our first API call together.
Okay, where do I do that at?
Oh, so you just go back to platforms.openai. And then from there you will go into where it says API keys. And then, or either API keys or Bill. Let me go back onto that page.
See the API keys, and then my project. You said Bill.
Yeah, so it's going to be. Let's see here.
Go to billing.
Try usage. Or if you click on home, there should be a button that says credit balance. Do you see that? Add credits.
No, I don't see that.
Okay. If you like, you could share your screen and I could just from there help you find it.
Right. I see where I can add payments in.
Pardon?
I said I see where I can add payments in.
Yeah, that's all you need to do.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me put my information in.
Then yeah, you're about to say something?
Oh, it's just asking me how much. Is 10 fine?
Yeah, that's plenty.
Okay.
Yeah, an API call will be at most like 3 cents or 2 cents.
All right. Now I'm gonna share again. Hold on 1 second.
All right, perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Back
So when you're done with that, we can go back to the code base. And then let's just close cursor, and then reopen it again. All right, and let's go ahead and press play. All right. Can we, what's it saying? Because running the scripts. Can you go ahead and just copy the error from the top to the bottom, and then from there just paste it in the agent?
Agent.
Mm-hmm. And just press in there. Okay. Yep, you're good.
This is so interesting. This is the first time I have AI do any kind of coding like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they really changed the game when this came out.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. But yeah, the people that made it, they made it, and like actually Elon Musk just purchased this for $60 billion.
This is crazy.
Yeah. So
can you do this with SQL too?
Yeah, you can. They have yeah, you actually can, definitely.
Wow.
It's a complete game changer. So yeah, you'll really love this.
As-
So, but you were gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, as a data analyst, this is gonna be this is gonna be game changing.
It is. It's such a game changer.
Because-
Snowflake has this built into their environment as well. So you'll really like it. All right. So there are two separate issues. The virtual activation blocked. PowerShell's exclusion policy is blocking the. You don't need to activate that. You already ran it correctly or use the blah 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 blah. And then invalid API key. The script is reading your key from the OpenAI return of the. So go to create a new. Make sure that what we have in the ENV is actually the real. You're actually the real one that you copied.
All right. And that was above, right?
No. Remember when we
The one I
created?
had to copy and paste into the Word doc.
Yeah, exactly. Just make sure that it's like the same thing.
Do I replace the whole thing or no?
No, just the SK part.
Okay.
And I was it looks like you might have double. It looks like you just repost. Did you try to repost it?
I just redid it.
Oh, it looks like you added it. You didn't remove the other one.
Let me erase it, make sure.
Yeah. Keep until where it says OpenAI key equals. Yep. There we go. And just paste it. Make sure you paste it instead of.
We do it old school. There we go.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that looks very different from what we had before. So if that's the whole, if that's it, then okay. Let's go ahead and save it. Control S. So yeah, go ahead and you could press keep file on the top. Keep file just updates everything, and then on the .env you didn't save it yet. So if you press Control S, there we go. All right, so now let's go back into our main.py and let's go ahead and run it. Let's see if we got a different output.
Let me clear this again.
There we go. It worked.
Oh, it worked.
Nice. Yep. And we see the output right there, right? You can go ahead and clear it, and then we could run it again. Boom. You want to read it?
Under a silver moon, a little unicorn followed a trail of stardust home and fell asleep among the whispering flowers.
Yeah. All right. So do you know where that's coming from?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you see on line 18?
On line 18?
It says, write a 1-sentence bedtime story about a unicorn on line 18.
Oh, okay.
So this is where we change what we want it to do. So instead of that string where it says write a 1-sentence bedtime story about a unicorn, let's change that. Just that's inside what's inside of there.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the string.
The string, exactly. And what do you want it to do? You could tell it to do whatever you want.
No clue. Why don't we ask everyone else what they'd wanted to do?
This is where your creativity comes in. Or Lydia, what do you want it to do? Anybody has an answer?
There we go, a chocolate cake.
All right, let's roll with it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so you could pull up the terminal so you could see a little bit better the response. There we go.
So our AI is working now. Our chatbot, I should say. Is
Yeah, our
working.
chatbot is working now. You're getting our response. We're getting our responses in the terminal. So, Lydia, do you want to give it a request before we wrap things up?
I think I got lost completely, so I was
Nope.
trying to go back, but don't worry, I will try to understand it now in the
Yeah, sure thing.
phase we are.
Yeah, sure thing. All you have to do is just give it a command to do whatever we want. Just like you're using ChatGPT. What do you want it to do?
So real quick, basically what we did was had AI write us the code to make an AI chatbot. Essentially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, this was already you copied. Remember, we copied the template from the OpenAI website.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but if we were to use the agent, we can get it to do that as well. Yeah.
Oh man, that opens so many possibilities. Because
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sure things like GitHub have insane amount of libraries that do things, like, with code that do things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's why, when I realized, how powerful this stuff is, I fell in love with it. This was way back before AI, but for anybody that learns how to do this stuff, it's very, very fun. But yeah, before we wrap things up, Lydia, I just want we're going to be able to insert inside this input, any string that we want for it to do whatever, it wants, whatever you want it to do. Anything that you want to put in there? No, not yet.
Okay.
So that's not going to be able to output an image, but that'll be for a different library.
So there are libraries we can pull in that would allow it to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe search for, I don't know, specific research information.
About what?
I don't know, maybe cancer research.
Okay, sure.
There we go. Let's see.
Boom. A lot of documents there. Sweet.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
Very cool. That is quite eye-opening.
All right, you guys. So I just want to wrap things up over here. Really, really good stuff with y'all, participating. I'm going to just finish up the rest of these slides here, and then we can dive into the rest of this glorious day. All right, so we created our first AI application, and really this is what people are talking about when they're talking about AI engineering, because knowing how to use Cursor and all of these tools, these are the reasons why people are getting jobs and such like that. So I just wanted to remind everybody, this is just one lesson out of the many that I have. We have a number of different ones that help people with creating their own employees for their workflow, whether it be SQL, building products, and everything regarding AI engineering. We also make it affordable for everybody that is, wanting to learn more and join more. So with that being said, we're glad to have everybody here for the workshop. One thing that we like to do is to really just do like an end of the workshop wave while I record it on the camera. So if everybody can get, anybody that wants to could get on camera, and then we could just wave and call it a workshop. All right, if you learned something during the workshop, let's go ahead and get a wave. There we go. Excellent. Thank y'all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. If you have any questions, you want to join us and you want to learn more, I have this whole curriculum with Tech Founder Pro, and we'll be glad to have you as another one of our success stories. All right. Have a great rest of the day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Nova. That was an excellent presentation.
I'm really glad to hear that. Have a great one, y'all.
Thank you
Have a great
very
one.
much.
Oh, and also feel free to add me on LinkedIn. We also value your taking out the time to leave us a review. All of that is really, really great as well. So yeah, let other people know. We have a number of different kinds of workshops as well. All of them are really valuable. So yeah, just continue to look out for the next one. And also, we really value your reviews and shout outs. Have a great one, y'all.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.
So can you just repeat where can we find these courses?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I have a link over here. One moment here. One moment here. I can send you a link. Here it is. And just send me a message on, you can send me a message on either LinkedIn or Meetup, and I'd be glad to, let you know more about it. But yeah, we've gotten amazing results from this. I just moved the platform to another channel, but I just moved this to using School. We were using Kajabi before. It's another platform, but yeah, we like the way that this displays more. So we've had more members in another community, but we just started using this tool because we like it more. But yeah, we'll be glad to, if you or any other people that you know are interested, then just reach out to me and we'll be able to let you know all the different options for joining the program.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was an excellent class. Thank you.
All right. Have a great one, Lydia.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.